So we think it's really important that you follow this kind of 5-phase process to develop your technology or app stack. So step one, start with a scope and business case to identify why, who, what. So it's really important that you start off by actually identifying why you're going through this process in the first place. Step two, map out all of your existing business processes, and a cloud integrator will most likely have cheat sheets for you to help you do this. Step three, determine your options and select your app stack and integration design. So once you've decided your app stack, map out your how you're going to effectively integrate it and make sure that it flows and the integrations all flow. Step four, which is again very important, train, test, trial and implement. So like we mentioned earlier, it's vitally important with any new technology or any new system or process that your team are fully up to date with it, have fully been tested, and that you don't implement it until everyone gives you the green light. And I think the problem that we've seen previously, and I think a lot of businesses have, is that you might be 80% there and you don't want to, until you're 100%, you don't want to click the green button. But if you're nearly there and you think everyone does know the basics, I think it's important that you actually then do implement it, because I don't think you're ever going to get to 100%. Everyone's comfortable, and if you stay at 80% and you never click the green button to move, you're just going to stay there and you're not going to improve. So sometimes you've got to make that jump, even if you're not 100% happy. And then step five is review the success and ensure you have the support and the training and the third-party support to help you move forward. So scoping out the business case. So why do we scope out the business? Firstly, we can make sure that everyone is on the same page about the overall project and that we can have clear objectives and measurements for the outcomes. If we define what success looks like up front, we know when we have been successful. So what are you actually looking to get out of the project? If you get to the end of the project and you haven't defined what a successful project is, then you're going to get to the end of it and think, well, have we achieved what we wanted to achieve? It also clarifies why you're doing this and what's the return on investment. And I think that's really an important point, because these softwares and these apps can be quite costly. And as a business owner, you want to make sure that actually, are you going to be getting a return on this, and is it worthwhile? And as at Davis Grant, again, we're constantly looking at new systems to implement. We're looking at some new systems at the moment. And as we're scoping out the system, we are looking at, are we going to get a return on our investment? Will completing the project save time and money, make more money, or is it just something that's needed for compliance? Again, compliance is a vitally important part of the business, and it might not save time or money, but it's just something that the business needs. Scoping also ensures everyone gets involved upfront, so the users, suppliers, customers, partners, including accountants, business coaches. This means everyone's issue getting into the melting pot from the start and will minimize any resistance to change or lack of adaptation when we implement. All of the inputs and outputs and any risk assumptions and anything you're not prepared to compromise is also recorded at the beginning. And finally, make sure you put a time frame. And I think, again, this is vitally important, because you might start a project now and in 5 years later, not finish the project, because there's no time frame, no one's pushing it. There's always something that becomes more important, or a customer needs becomes more important. So if you define a time frame and you set key goals along those time frame, that will then help you meet the project and make sure it kind of moves ahead. Mapping out the business process. So once we've got the high level scope, we then put on our business analyst hat. And how does the process work? What happens? Who makes decisions? Who does what? Where are the checkpoints? Again, this is a great chance for everyone to have their say, and also a chance to identify bottlenecks, time wastage, lack of quality and accuracy, and that can be addressed in the next phase of the project. As an output, all processes should be documented via a simple flowchart. Word document, or even a quick video if that will help. These processes will then form the basis of the final process document for your business. As we talked about before, this is essential to manage staff, train new staff, and handle growth in the business. So the app stack design. So once you've defined all the processes, you can then actually start looking at what app fits. This is where a specialist can really help. So each app will have specific functions that you do or don't do. These must be mapped to your needs. So are you needing job management or detailed project management? How do you link up proposals, invoicing, time and expenses, inventory and financial management? And how does each app integrate to each other? How will it all fit together? And how do you actually pay for the app? So is it just a one-off fee? Is it based on volume of transactions or the amount of users? I guess and another important point is, how does the app actually look and feel to you? So does it feel like a good quality app that you're going to you want your business to use? What is their support like? And I think, again, support from whoever created the app or whoever owns the app is vitally important. Make sure you do a demo and a trial run so it actually fits your needs, and then use a prepared evaluation sheet that works for you. So whether that's price versus functionality or ease of use versus local product. These are all things that should be on your evaluation sheet. And then lastly, based on the results of the evaluation, define your app stack, work out how to train everyone and implement the new tools, and finalize the last stage of the project budget. And then implementation. This is obviously normally the bit that is difficult, and really it's the last stage to get things going. So complete any testing, trials or parallel runs, update all your processes and flowcharts to reflect the new process. So as we said, any new members of staff can then just look at the flowcharts and fit in, and then use these to train the team and update job descriptions. Perform any data migration and cleansing of your data, which we always think is really important to cleanse the data before you move to a new system. And then go live, either phasing things or just put a full stop, change over. This date, we are moving everything to the new system. And then lastly, once the project's been completed, it's ideal to review what's happened and measure your success against what we mentioned before, the project scope. Did you meet the business case? Are all the needs catered for? Is all the team happy? Which, as we know at the moment, keeping the team happy is very important. And are the customers happy? Again, vitally important to your business. If your customers aren't happy using your new system, are they going to go to another competitor who's using a different system to do the same thing? Take on any learnings and implement actions to resolve or learn for your next review. Are all the integrations and reconciliations working? Do you have checkpoints to check that the actual data is working and is accurate? And do your team or any new team members new training? Maybe consider splitting the team up and getting monthly training sessions, or just have a check-in with them that they're happy with how it's all working. And then finally, set a time to review the mechanism and track any team ideas. So you might have just moved to a new system, but you should still be looking if there's any ways to improve that. And maybe every 6 months, you can actually have a step back and say, right, we've just moved to this new system. Let's have a look in 6 months' time and see if there's any other way to improve or make this system even more efficient. So now we're looking at your next step. So as you can see, systemizing your business to increase efficiency and a return is a very involved process. The benefits to be gained are also massive. For example, if you could improve your overall efficiency and lift your return by just 1% when your turnover is 500,000, that's the equivalent to an extra £5,000 of profit every year. Of course, we're hoping that the gain is going to be more than 1%, but even 1% is £5,000 for extra for the business to help you grow to that next level. Likewise, if we could free up 5 hours of your time or your team's time every week, what would that be like to get that 5 hours back to improve your work-life balance? And then what if you could reduce the amount of errors and mistakes because of the automation? Less stressful would your life be if you could reduce the amount of errors that are happening? So the aim of this webinar was really to help you see the benefits of taking a strategic and planned approach to systemizing your business. We want to help you get better benefits of better return, greater efficiency, and reducing the risk of errors. So what are your next steps from here? And really, doing nothing is not an option. Doing what you have always done is unlikely to give you the same results if you have done in the past. Remember, we want you to help improve your return and more free time and less stress, and not just stay where you are. Remember to put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Planning for sustainable improvement starts with you and the leadership in your business. Make a clear plan. Don't jump at those bright, shiny objects. For example, the latest piece of technology you've heard about. Don't just jump straight in. Make sure you're planning ahead before you actually jump to that technology. Focus on what you can do as opposed to worrying about what is out of your control. And lastly, we're here for you, and we want to help you go through this process and really get back more of your time and improve the profitability of your businesses. So how can we help you? So again, like I mentioned earlier, this is really just an educational webinar, but there's several ways that we can help you be more specifically beyond today's webinar. So we would love to help you make a better plan to be systemized. We're not here to sell you technology or apps, not at all. Obviously, we're not an app provider or technology business. We're just looking to help improve your business, and by using technology, we think that will help. So do you want just to get better at using technology you already have, or do you want to access whether there's actually better options to improve efficiency? Sometimes just stepping back is what it's all about, and scoping out what you want from the technology in the first place. In other words, that step one we talked about earlier, as opposed to jumping to step 4, which is implementation. So take step 1, follow the process, and don't just jump straight in. By scoping out the work first, you can then start to involve the right technology experts to help map out your process, review, build your app stack, and then implement the right solution. If you're not quite ready to commit to a paid service, we can send you an app stack project worksheet, which can then help you make a plan to build in an app stack. We can then meet with you to review your worksheet to ensure you've scoped all your projects and have a realistic plan for building, implementing, and helping kind of put forward your app stack. Or if you know you need help with the whole process from planning to implementation and review, you might be interested in our full service project scoping service, which we can help from step 1 all the way to implementation. If you're unsure where to start, we can just have a complimentary meeting just to establish your business goals and kind of where you take the business forward. I know I've mentioned Xero a few times throughout the webinar. We're Xero Platinum partners. We've been using this for over 10 years. And if you haven't yet moved your business to a cloud-based bookkeeping software, this can really open so many kind of efficiencies and avenues to move your business to the next level. And if you haven't yet moved to Xero, or you are using Xero but you think there's a lot more you could be doing on it, please do speak to us. We've also partners with Capitalize, which helps businesses obtain financing and loans. And over the last year, we've helped so many businesses with kind of CBILS and bounce back loans and obtaining invoice financing, which has really helped their business over these challenging times. Receipt Bank, which is now called Dex, which is involved in automating your invoicing, your purchase invoicing, and really making sure that system flows really easily. And again, we can provide you direct experience to all of these softwares. And lastly, Supportis, which is to do with HR and health and safety, which again, we can help you look at your HR and health and safety and really take it to the next level.